Good evening and welcome to Technoayurveda. This is the 11th lecture which we are making it weekly. And in this, on request and also as the topic demands, I was presenting for myself as for the how this medical astrology is really scientific or not. As the Ayurveda, which we are going to see with, we know already the different concepts of the Ayurveda, like the Ayurvedic Siddhanta or the Sapradhat Siddhanta and etc. The astrology is a very new subject within Ayurveda. Ayurveda in astrology and the astrology in Ayurveda, both the things are going to be dealt with. I already narrated a book, AyurJyotish, which is about the diseases, how could be identified and also can be cured through the medical astrology remedial measures. These remedial measures, when we are going to see, these are being called as Daiva Vipasya Chikitsas in Ayurveda. These Daiva Vipasya Chikitsas, are they really useful? Whether it is only a belief or the mythological concept of it. Now, when we are thoroughly examining, Vinatarkenaya Siddhihi Yadrucha Siddhilevata, without understanding and without evaluating any subject, to say that subject is useless is not a right thing as according to my understanding. Ayurveda is subjected for the examination and thoroughly we are making it an evaluation also, and this evaluation through a research, evidence-based Ayurveda. When we are making the evidence-based Ayurveda, in the same way, we are trying to make even the evidence-based astrology also. This evidence-based Ayurveda and evidence-based astrology, when we are thinking of, we are trying to evaluate our ancestors' properties or ancestors' knowledge. Today, I welcome you all for my guest lecture over the how to understand and how scientific the medical astrology is. We'll start our lecture right now. I am sharing the main screen of mine. Hope you are all able to see it properly. This heading as a Daiva Vyapasya Chikitsa in Ayurveda disease was presented a couple of days back on 31st of the March in Sanskriti Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital. On request, once again, I am repeating how scientific this medical astrology is. Here, a small introduction about the people, those who were unaware of the medical astrology. As Ayurveda is scientifically narrated thousands of years ago, with their attitudes and protocols in specific, which we are studying, are very different from the present day understanding, present day scientific attitude and protocol. Long back, I attempted one book which refers to that of the evidence-based practices in Ayurveda. And there was one more book which is available in the market by Dr. Dev Pujari is Mathematical Ayurveda. See, the question here, the mathematical models were being used by the people of the ancient India. It is not just casual or with a fluke advantages. Tridhatu, Tridosha, Treshna, Trividha Roga Marga, like that, everything numerically being. Here, if you observe, the 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 were said to be the, and 13 were said to be the odd numbers are there always all the time when the classification is. Probably A non-mathematical student like me may not be able to understand the magnanimity of this classification in a odd number pattern which have been given. But a statistician can very specifically can understand the importance of it. This is this Ayurveda is a meta-philosophical and also statistical enumerated evidence-based models have been followed in it. Trivida Chikitsa, which we are speaking of, Tattvavajaya Chikitsa related to the of the manas, Yukti-Viprasaya Chikitsa related to the of the body. And Daiva-Vyapasaya Chikitsa in specific, it is going to handle the body and also mind together. Both areas can be made out very comfortably. Why? Because which we are understanding the different patternalizations of the mathematical models of the Ayurveda. When we see these things, we can really understand how beautifully the people have made the Daiva Vyapasaya Chikitsa as the mind-body togetherness, which is going to be healed, and it can be treating the different known origins and also unknown origins. Here, Daiva Vyapasaya Chikitsa, what are the Daiva Vyapasaya Chikitsa is the question. Here, mantra, aushati, mani, mangala vachaka, bali, upahara, homa, niyamana, prayaschitta, upavasa, swasti vachaka, pranipata, tirthayatra. All these things which are being said as the Daiva Vyapasaya Chikitsa, they are really referral to that of the unknown of origination and only theosophical in nature or related to only religion is a big question. As we see, there will be an opposition about this medical astrology and astrology itself. Even Ayurveda, there is many people say it is an outdated version of the medicinal kind. We are supposed to make out ourselves strengthen with that of the antiquity and how ancient we are and how ancient our sciences are. And thereafter, we can just make out whether these sciences which have been followed in different paternizations and rules and regulations, are these paternizations and rules and regulations could be brought into the present day science and scientific attitudes or not, is a big question. We have the opposition for the Ayurveda, we have the opposition for the astrology, we have the opposition even for the medical science. What we do there is, whatever you say in the astrology, it is of the religious in nature, you want to convert all people into the Hindus or Indian Vedic sciences, Vedic culture, or you are bringing forward. Not at all, no. Because all these are the practices which can be done by anybody of the irrespective of the religion and without interfering the religion also. Here, for example, first one is the Aushata. The medicine doesn't see whether it is which religion a person belongs to. The same way, even the jump. All the people, irrespective of the religion, they believe this particular Ratna Dharana. And we use in Ayurveda this Ratna as the medicines. We have the Manikya Bhasma, we have the Marakata Bhasma, we have all the Navaratna Bhasma also. So, the herbal and mineral and gem as a herbo-mineral combination podges are said to be used by any of the person, irrespective of the religion. The another is the Mangala Vachaka and Swasti Vachaka. The Mangala Vachaka is said as the amulet and Swasti Vachaka are blessing. If suppose somebody is speaking to us a good thing, you best of luck. The best of luck is a Mangala Vachaka, bless you is the Swasti Vachaka. How come a blessing and a amulet is going to be a religious in nature? Irrespective of any religion, people can make it out that boosts the positivity, and thereby the person whoever is deprived or depressed will be getting and boosted with the positive energies. That means we are trying to make the individual to say a good words towards somebody is never be religious. This is what we have to understand. Niyama are the regulations, upavasa is fasting, prayaschitta, atonement, upahara, presentation, and pranipata, salutation. All these five, when you see, a very big thing is people on one hand they say you are useless, and on the other hand they take the Nobel Prizes. One of the recent Nobel Prize winner has made on research on the Upavasa, especially the Ekadasi Upavasa has been a research topic, and what the cyclical Upavasas are going to be changing the individual's physiology is being brought forward, thereby he got a Nobel Prize on this. One word out of the entire and many of the Ayurveda, a fasting or a upavasa brought him or got him with a Nobel Prize. Next is the yatra, which we are going to see with. The yatra is to be said as a touring or the pilgrimage. Especially the people are going to be making a pilgrimage much and more. And this makes a diversion of the mind and change of the surroundings, and of course self-enjoyment or commitments to that of the religious activity. In this yatra, nobody has said this, it is to be only for such a temple or so. Muslims go for the Makkah, Hindus may go for the Tirupati, Christians go for elsewhere, Jerusalem. So the question here is, the yatra is going to make his commitments of the religious to be fulfilled, or otherwise the enjoyment is going to be come forward. When we see this yatra, it not only makes a commitmentation of the individual and the enjoyment, further it is going to be an exposure for that of the different geographical and ethnic conditions also. When we go for the geographical and ethnic conditions, it was something different things which we are going to look forward, and we are going to be changing our physiology naturally even. Simple. People, those who are living in the extreme south of the India, they are not much more exposed to the wheat products. The same way, northern part of the Indian culture do not have the more of the rice varieties and products. The rice varieties and products, when they are going to adopt it, when they go in south, then vice versa, when a South Indian comes and in the North Indian adopts the North Indian culture and heritage and diet, there will be a body change is going to be seen, and the weather conditions are going to be making something different, and sometimes more healthy even. Many a times more healthy even. None of these things are said to be religious in nature. And the Bali is the word, which is going to be a taxing and victimization. In fact, here there is a cruelty. There is a bloodshed, which is practiced many occasional religiously, which is banned according to the government law even. That's why the bloodsheds are being not accepted. Without bloodsheds, which are going to be seen or be observed, they can be said as the a sort of the upaharas to the god offering. So without a blood, when somebody is involving, that will be a gifting to the of the god. That's why we don't bother about this bali, and we not encourage the killing of animals. The last two are said to be very interesting and important again. The mantra, pronunciation, pronouncing something, deliberations, or otherwise, scientifically, when we are trying to evaluate this, we can say as a sound vibration. It is being noticed that when the Gayatri mantra is going to get uttered, the sounds which are going to be forced or the focus on a particular area filled with the sand. It was miraculously found that after the completion of the Gayatri Mantra recitation, the sandy area had shown the three chakra. That means the vibrations are going to have something very peculiarity is being understood. Suppose somebody is saying something, you are going to be good enough and you are going to be recovering soon. That word of the recovery, resuscitation, which we are using in our practice, that also makes the lots of the difference. So this increases the positivity in an individual and it increases even the action potential through that of the vibration. This mananat mantraha or mananat prayate mantraha. That means if suppose I am going to be okay, I am going to be okay, when we are going to say, then we are going to be okay. It's what the mantra is. If the same mantra is corresponding to a particular origination or particular direction, it gives a boosted energy also. The rishis have been followed many of such mantras and they created otherwise. If we are trying to make out as a belief, then it's okay, belief. If it is going to be a sound vibration, then it's okay. That means each and every person, religiously, when they are following something, at the time we can understand those words which are being meant to create a positivity in the individuals. The last one is the Homa out of the Deva Vipassana. This is a burnt offering or otherwise a sacrifice once again, offering it to the fire. It is an oblation, or if at all we are thinking in a scientific way, it is an inhalation therapy, or it is a color therapy even it is a light vibration. Pancha Mahabhutas which we are speaking, all these Pancha Mahabhutas are having the different vibrations and different vibrational levels also, which scientifically being measurable as on today. I was speaking it as a inhalation therapy or otherwise color therapy or otherwise light vibration. First one is the inhalation therapy. How this can be inhalation therapy? Is it like anesthesia? Of course. We can just say whatever is being inhaled, it is going to reach the lungs from there to the entire body. Whenever the different wood, if the common people as being used, is used in a homa or havana, it gives the uncombusted polycarbons evaluated. When these uncombusted polycarbons are going to be coming out of, then we can understand those areas, how the people are trying to make the individualized peoples as the individual people when they are going to make out the things which are referred to that of the uncombusted polycarbon. These uncombusted polycarbons are going to be effective on the body is being already proved. One of the small example which I am trying to bring you is a few days back it is appeared on the newspaper also. One of the doctors performed a homa in a operation theater, and before to that, the people, those who were got operated in a particular area, even after the sanitization and also cleaning everything, they were getting some of the other way troubles. Once the Havana is being made, there was much opposition for the particular doctor to perform a deed of the Havana in the OT. When it is being made, after that, the doctor has found himself, there was zero complications from that particular area. What changes have been made and how it has been happened, it is very difficult to prove, but the end results are a positive. If at all, first and foremost, in any of the area, in any of the family, in a particular place of the working, if there's so much of the negation is there, if you are going to make a Ganapati Homa, Navagrah Homa, Shanti Homa, or any sort of the homa which is referred to Mrityunjaya Homa, then that particular area is going to be sanctified. A sanctification may not be a theosophical definition. A sanctification could be of the a physical related with that of the sanitization also. Whenever we are doing this homa avana, the fumes, the flames are going to come out. These flames are having a different wavelength which is being made up. Might be in many of the WhatsApp messages you see after the homa, somebody see the line in it, somebody see Dhanvantari in it, and that means light shapes are going to be in a different way, depends upon. These vibrations which are going to come to a light, this light itself is the light. The light, what we are getting is for the present from the star sun. Today we are speaking this sun as a star and the rest as a planet. Suppose when we are there with and everything looks like a round, and when it is going to make the only to say is like a spherical object and body, we call them as a graha only. This homa havana related to that of the Navagrahas, 9 planets, with a specified sound rhythm is being provided by our ancestors. Along with that of a wood which is going to be burnt in the particular also being set. There is a specified procedure for that to attain the perfection. Okay. As a person of the modern age, we don't believe it. I was not believing 35 years back about this astrology, but 30 years continuous work in astrology made me to accept this as a very lively science and life science. We doesn't need to recite the mantras. If at all you are going to burn an incense stick in your home, whether you accept that as a incense stick or not, that whatever the fragrance which is being spreading in the room, it is going to be the same enough. Now suppose somebody doesn't believe the medicine, whether he believes the medicine or doesn't believe the medicine will act on the body. If he believes, the action of the medicine will be doubled. That's the reason why the patients who are approaching to us, out of that, they are 100% believers. They get rid of their problems very fast and sooner. And the people those who don't believe and come with suspiciousness, they get a bit more trouble is being observed. But ultimately, when we have in the present society, we have to accept some sort of the supernatural, almighty, or something or someone, either physically or imaginarily. So thereby we tell or we make a word tagged with him is the God. The belief itself is the God. When the belief is the God, the ancient components of the Indian origination also to be understood as what we believe. In Ayurveda, there is only one stanza. A Vaidya who is learning Ayurveda has to learn the Shadanga Vigna. What are these Shadanga Vigna? Shiksha, Vyakarana, Kalpa, Chanda, Nirukta, and Jyotisha. Out of this, except this Jyotisha, all are connected to that of the linguistics and phonetics. Very specifically, why this Jyotisha was referred to be learned by an astrologer, Ayurvedic person, is a big question. Why a physician has to learn this Jyotisham? What is this Jyotisham? Jyotisham is the Vedanga Jyotisham. We are developing or deriving a kundali from the individual birth date, time, and place, based upon the earth longitude and latitude, based on the latlons of the angulation, the parallax, error, geocentric positions of the celestial bodies, Navagrahas, and we are calculating this position of this Navagrahas related to that of the 12 star constellations like Mesha, Vrishabhadi, and this in this nakshatras of the 27 nakshatra in condition with that of the degrees, minutes, and seconds out of the 360. This astrology speaks about the Tidhi Vara Nakshatra Yoga Karanas, which is the Panchanga. Apart from this, it speaks about the Navanathas, who are the 9 rulers for each and every year. The Navanathas, but like this, if at all I start speaking, there will be 1,000 numerically accessible factors available in the Jyotisha. The 9 planets and the Lagna in a corresponding to that of a Kundali or Janma Kundali, where the Lagna is said as an ascendant or the rising position of an individual. And with 12 bhavas and 27 into 4 nakshatra padas, we are going to draw a mathematical model conclusion to that of the particular person who has born in a particular time. In this, we are taking the help of the dasha. In the dasha, there are many dasha, Udu dasha, Kalachakra dasha, Tera dasha, like, and also Ashtottari, Vimshottari, like. What has been said in astrology is Kalau Parashara. The Parashara followed the Vimshottari dasha 120 years. Even the medical astrology wished to follow the same 120. There was a question raised. What is this 120 years? The answer comes from the Ayurveda, one way, and from the astronomy in another way. The 120 years, if you refer the Ayurveda text, 120 inches is said as the human being height. And this 120 inches human being is almost double. Ajanubahu Aravindadalayataskam, this is what the Rama description was. Previously, when we see the people who were with so height, gigantic personalities were there. And today we are becoming shorter and shorter because of our environmental changes. We are having lack of oxygen, lack of proper food, lack of proper nutrients, and all these things are making us to become dwarfs and dwarfs. Probably it is being said even one day the Valakiljas are going to come. That means the so short people may be a 1 feet, 2 feet height human beings also may be coming in future. This is being said in the Puranas. That nothing is new. When we see from the astronomical side, the light which is reaching us from the sun in 7 minutes, it's not exactly 7, 6 fraction minutes. Probably the previously, when this was designed, thousands of years ago, at that time, the sun rays were used to reach the earth in 6 minutes. The reflection on the moon and other areas, some people even say this is totally a planetary engineering also. Somebody else who were having the knowledge and can control, they made the planetary engineering, they showed their evidences also. But one thing, this whatever the years which have been referred to in an individual planet, like Chandra is for 10 years, Surya for 6 years, Puja for the 7 years. The light which falls on the particular graha reflects and comes to us. The time taken for the reflection and reaching us, the time is being calculated. That is being presented as the number of the years, which being another understanding. Now, we have the lots of the opposition and answering. I took this entire session with whatever the questions being posed or faced, and they are going to get answered here in a scientific way. What the people say is that astrology is not at all a science, it speaks a pseudo-knowledge. Jyotisham is a perfect science and Jyotisham is a mathematical moral science because number 1, 2, 3, which we are speaking here, Whenever a science is going to be developed from the another science, that will be a true science also. Here, we discuss this point in detail. The second is the reproducibility of any particular science. And the astrological terminologies which are being there, are existing, they are being developed based on a calculative derivation. And especially the Vedic astrology of the India is reflecting many scientific branches even when we go through, then only we can say. As I said, the Navanayakas are being calculated every year by this Panchangam. People, those who are preparing the Panchangam, advanced calculations and ephemerides, they include even the meteorology, seismology, and many of the other sciences also. Jyotisham or the astrology is not just a science of making a people harmonious and to make the people say which you get good or bad. This is totally based on the astronomy and mathematical calculation. This Vedic astrology, when we are speaking, it is being practiced and being tried to establish in many of the universities through the researchers worldwide with the evidence-based astrology model. When we are knowing this thing, then also we ignorantly say when the proof is being in front of us. In various Ayurvedic Samhitas also, more than 500 references of the astrology are being made. One of my friends, Subhash Vaghe, he is very much interested and he made a work on where this astrology is in Ayurveda text. And he write a book on this, maybe it is in the publication also. Now, when we see this many references, we have to understand how scientific it is and why it is so as such. Say, a science developed from the another science is always a true science. This is what my statement is. This Vedanga Jyotisham, or the Vedic astrology, is a science developed from the Vedic mathematics, Vedic astrophysics, light physics, and Vedic astronomy, Barwala Shastra, which are principal sciences. Thereby, astrology is also a principal science. Second sentence which I have used here is, a science developed from another science is always a true science. Once again here, the mathematical calculation of the celestial bodies in Vedanga Jyotisham are based on geocentric and Druk Siddhanta position. What this Druk Siddhanta means is visual perspective calculation. Physically, they see. Today, what the planetarium people are doing, it was done by our ancient acharyas also. If you see, the same things are going to be seen elsewhere also in South America. You are going to find a Venus observatory and a Mars observatory separately, exclusively also. We have Jantar Mantar in Delhi, Jaipur, and many places, which are going to speak and a part of the calculating a Druk Gadita Siddhanta of the Jyotisha. So, these are not hypothetical at all. Thereby, we have to understand how scientific the astrology is, which is based on the astronomy, a specific science. Very interesting thing here is, there was a word, even the NASA people are going to follow our Panchanga because of one reason which we will come across in the future slides. The second statement here being given is the primary character of the science is reproducibility. When we say the reproducibility, AyurJyotisham, a part of the Vedanga Jyotisham, the medical astrology, it is having intellectual and practical reproducible activity encompassing the systematic, schematic, and thematic studies of the structural, behavioral attitudes of the individual, natural, physical, psychological, and paranormal worlds of the human being. This sentence itself is so complicated, any technically possible person who are thinking of a physical, psychological, and paranormal world of the individual could be studied through the structural and behavioral attitude through a thematic, and systematic models. This is what astrology is going to do. This is not latest, it is done for the thousands of years back. The terminologies when we are going to come as these are based upon the calculative derivatives of the interplanetary position. The spots of the A and B being calculated, a planet of the A, planet of the B, and thereby the relativity with the constellation out of this entire big cosmos. I'll show you how big it is and where we are even. We will not be able to understand exactly what position it is. We try to make it out. Here, these planetary positions, which are being using the mathematical model and trigonometry as fractions, which we may not be a common average Indian or a citizen may not be able to make it out. I am very poor in mathematics. I don't know much mathematics. I am an end user, in fact. These astrology terminologies, which we are going to see based upon and express even the most importantly the electromagnetism and gravitational pull, geomagnetism, suspension magnetism, cosmic gamma ray effect, etc. I don't know how many of you are being aware of what these things are even, because we belongs to a Ayurveda community where we started learning Vata, Pitta, Kaphas and etc. When this curiosity makes, I started knowing what these things are out of this past 30 years. Some of them I came to know and understood, and still some of them are not crackable even by me. And many more, even the which we may not be able to make out, and all these are brought into a scientific terminology of this particular area, which belongs to more than 16,000 years ago and all. This Vedic astrology is a very well established and it's an observational science for the common man, which we see here. It is even reflecting branches like motion kinetics, spin kinetics, static and kinetic energy, magnetism, electromagnetism, relative magnetism of the moving bodies, light emissions and spectral deviation, light motions as an optic refraction, thermodynamics, radiation caused by the mass, all these things, not from one angle, a different angle the people were studying and different systems were used in the ancient astrology. Today, they become an independent sciences like the mineralogy and meteorology and seismology and etc. Even we have the other sciences which are incorporated in the astronomy and astrology are the electrostatic, magnetostatic, and gravity, states of the substances as solid, gaseous, liquid, quantum mechanics, atomic, subatomic particle varieties, diffraction and interfaces, condensed matter physics even, cosmology and dark matter, particle physics, biophysics, meteorology. That when we start making all this, there was n number of the things which are going to be get included here. Now, these universities are really making a different levels of these studies and research. When I come through the smaller things also, it will be very astonishing to me. Look, the only question is we have to have some interest to learn. The moon relation to the psychological disorders is a very well established in the common people. And they say, on Amavasya and Purnami, the people are going to become mental. The same way, blood pressure is being shown its effect, the relation to the moon nearness or farness. When the moon is going to come near, the BP is going to be raised, and when it is going to be far, it suppresses automatically, like the ocean tides, which are going to be experienced. The Mars is being linked with the injuries and surgeries and also accidents. We are going to see and observe this through the Gochara also. There is Jupiter relationship in any astrology, Kundali, Lagna, Kundali, especially being used to refer with the stoutness of the individual. The research studies among the medical astrologies, when we see from the different universities, many people are making a evidence-based medical astrology research. So many innovative results which are being brought forward today based on a small sentences, which is the treasure of the millions of the years ago, when we were living on an island. India was once upon a time is an island. It is called as Jambu Dvipa, Saptadvipe Vasundhara. Out of the 7 continents are the island, Jambu Dvipa was one island. Wow, this is going to be understood as today we become peninsula or the Dvipa Kalpam. When this Indian plate hit to that of the Eurasian plate, 10 million years ago, the Himalayas has been formed. They are the very recent and continuously growing 1 centimeter every year, the Himalayas. This is practically acceptable and people which you can refer any of the Google and thereby you will be getting how this is being made even and whether I am speaking facts or not. I am speaking facts which are being scientifically evaluated by the different Western societies. Our Indian people denied this thing and we don't want to even explore. My expectation after hearing all this, if some people come out to explore the thing, to say whether it is correct, whether it is wrong, if it is send it to be is wrong or right, also is a great thing. I recollect Thomas Alva Edison here. Thomas Alva Edison's wife was scolding him when he is making a 300th time his experiment. She said, 299 times you are the failure. And now you are making. Edison replied, dear, you are stating I am failure at the 299 times. But in fact is, I make the people to understand how the 299 methods are not correct for the people. So the fact is not failure. I am successful to say these 299 methods are not possible to be made as a failure. Now, few of the things which we have to understand out of understanding the astrology and astronomy related to the medical aspect. First one is these questions we are going to make it. How old is the universe? How old is the solar system? How the earth movements are? How the things are going on? We may not be having a proper understanding to these questions at all. I just try to speak the one after the other. How old is this universe? Astrology, Indian astrology says the entire calculation of the humankind. It goes to that of the many millions and billions of the years. It is like Brahma, Vaivasvata, Manvantara, that is Brahma Dina, Brahma Varsha, Brahma Ayu, and thereafter 100 years is the Brahma Ayu. That means Brahma is for that of the one particular universe has been made out. And everything is going to be cyclical in nature is to be understood. When we see the descriptions of the Vedic astrology, I just try to summarize. The universe span is, that is one Brahma span is 311.0415 trillion years. This is what being said by the one universe can be exist this much of the years has been said by the modern people or the modern scientists. And here, one day and one night, when we say 8.64 billion years is going to be one day of the Brahma. In that, 4.32 billion years is the half of the daytime, which is corresponding to the present sun. The age of the sun is 4.32 billion years. In the night, Brahma sleeps. In the day, only the activity will be there and life will be there. On one day, the the Brahma sleeps and everything smashes on. Vedic astrology is counting it as a Vaivasvata Manvantara. This is seventh Manu, where the one Manvantara is going to be approximately 308 million years. In this 308 million years, there will be 71 Mahayuga. We have no this Yuga Mahayuga. 4 Yugas makes as a one Mahayuga, and 71 such Mahayugas are going to be there with one Manvantara. Actually, the Ramayana was said to happen in 24th Mahayuga, whereas we are in the 27th Mahayuga at present. And in this Kali Yuga, which has been come out here, and the Kruta, Treta, Dwapara, Kali Yuga, which we are going to see as a 4 quadrant coming reducted and can be observed. When we see this, the 27th Mahayuga, when we are running, recently, the Kali Yuga has been started 5,000 years back, and we have to go with 4,52,000 years in the Kali Yuga. What happens after the completion of at the end of the Kali Yuga? It is being said the Kalki is going to be there coming on the white horse, and he flies from earth to elsewhere, takes all the people. This is otherwise looking like a fantasy of migrating from one planet to the another planet even. We are in the midway of the 150 trillion years from the date of the formation of this entire universe, according to Vedanta Jyotisha. Even our present day science also going to say about the same thing about the formation of our universe. Say, we believe that this exact age of the universe is about 15 billion years, and with the so-called theory of the Big Bang, and the instruments what we are going to use to believe it or to accept it is by looking the oldest star and expansion of the universe. The fact is, today what we see the star in the sky may not be existing at all, because they are much more far away. 1,000 years, 100 to 1,000 light years away they are. The light which we see is 1,000 years back, not today. We have to understand this universe expansion even from when we are looking at the Vedic instrumentation to find out the facts. We have to understand the Vedic sciences in a different way other than that of what we are presently looking at, like a Sanskrit and mantra, and thereby we get proper understanding. And we believe that our ancestors are idiots, only we are the people wise. The wiseness and idiocy is going to be cyclical once again, like a wheel of the vehicle. Once it is going to come down and it goes up and it comes down once again. Here just I would like to bring it your notice about one couple of slokas. Agnirva apamayatanam ayatanavan bhavati yo agnorayatanam veda ayatanavan bhavati apova agnirayatanam ayatanavan bhavati ya evam veda yopamayatanam veda ayatanavan bhavati. Commonly people say they are singing like anything. Not the singing actually. Fire is the source of the water. Water is the source of the fire. He who knows the source of the water becomes established with himself. Now, we know today with our science, water is H2O. If there is a hydrogen ion, when the hydrogen ion is the fire, hydrogen ion is the source of the water. Without hydrogen, there will be no water. When there is a water, water can be separated and made as a hydrogen. Today, there is a specific engines which are being made or run from the water. They separate the hydrogen from the water. They run the machines today. We know already. He knows He who knows the source of the water as a hydrogen, he is going to establish himself. This is speaking about the hydrogen. And the second verse, Chandramava apamayatanam ayatanavan bhavati. Yes, Chandramasa ayatanam vedam ayatanavan bhavati. Apo vai Chandramasa ayatanam veda ayatanavan bhavati. Ya evam veda yopamayatanam vedam ayatanavan bhavati. Here he speaks the source of the water as the moon. And water is the source of the moon. He is trying to establish a water connectivity to that of the moon. He who knows the source of the water, he is established. Once again, himself. Now, what that moon and water relation is, there is to that of the gravitational pull. A water is going to be there on the surface of the earth because of the moon. If there is no moon, the water does not exist. The life do not exist. This is very simply, the gravitational pull is brought here. The moon gravity is holding the water onto the surface. Otherwise, this water would have gone into the deep into the earth, or otherwise, the water is going to be evaporated and will be in the surface. This is what the people are going to speak, a relation with the gravity and existence of the water. Water with the fire, water with the moon. Now the third level is going to be there here. Nakshatrani va apamayatanam ayatanavan bhavati. Yo nakshatranam ayatanam veda ayatanavan bhavati. Apo vai nakshatranam ayatanam ayatanavan bhavati. Ya evam veda yopamayatanam veda ayatanavan bhavati. Stars are the source of the water. Water is the source of the stars. He who knows the source of the water becomes astronomer. People may not be understanding where we got the water. Today, whatever the water drop we are drinking, it is millions and trillions of year old water. It is not a fresh water. The water is getting cycled and recycled once again. How it has come? Already a beautiful story of the Ganga Avataranam is being brought out here. Ganga Avataranam is not a story. It was a model which has been developed to collect the water. Probably here I will refer to that of the sun star has got a brother. It is called as a nemesis. Nemesis is a twin star of the sun. Stars always born as a 2-2 in nature. Not a single star is going to be get born. The second star, the nemesis, it makes an orbit like as we are revolving around the sun, even the nemesis and sun revolves one to another. This goes very far beyond, and from there, he brings the asteroids which have the water. When it's gone far away and came back, at that time, the asteroids started hitting our planet in the solar system, and the water was there. And when this water properly being made collected on the earth, at that time this water started existing. To water to exist on the earth, we are in a particular zone called as a Goldilocks zone. Thereby, this was possible. We are going to make it out. But water came from the stars. Stars means away from the dark and from the asteroid. The people were thinking the star and asteroids are one and the same. Thereby, the far away is used as a star. Here, let me explain where exactly we are in the cosmos. This picture is going to show about the Milky Way galaxy. Even I was in such a way, Milky Way galaxy is one. In fact, this Milky Way galaxy is having 50 galaxies in it. 50 galaxies together is called one Milky Way galaxy. And the solar system is approximately 25,000 to 28,000 light years away from the center of the galaxy. It is a 100,000 light years wide, and 100 billion stars are there in these stars. Otherwise, we have the sun. The 100 billion suns are there in the galaxy of the Milky Way. Milky Way galaxy itself is a compendium of the 50 galaxies. And here, this vision which we see is from the earth. This is the way what we see this entire sky with so much of the Ursa major, Ursa minor, maybe the English language or otherwise Saptarshi Mandala or the Karkat Rasi, Simha Rasi. Here you can just see Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, etc. things which I have shown you here. These are not single star constellation, and they are in fact much more far away, 100 to 200, 300 light years. Here, the Loka Purusha Samyata, which is going to be said in Ayurveda. Evamayam Loka Samhita Purushaha Yavanto hi Loke Murtimanto Bhavavitesha Tavantah Purushe Yavantah Purushe Tavantah Loke Iti. This we understand in a different way. Even when I started studying my BAMS in first year, 1977, I was speaking the same thing. What is this? Okay. Purusha equates the universe. Then I came to know in the later course. The factors that are sustained in the universe exist in the Purusha, vice versa is the common translation. But here, every day, tons of the cosmic dust is being deposited on the earth. On the earth, as you are moving, nowadays people are using, as in the mobile, they can see where they move at all. Not necessarily your skin, when it is being examined, it speaks which of the area you move and which of the area what is there. In each and every area. Say, for example, people, those who are living in Karnataka, in Bidar, anybody can very easily say, with the red shoes, dust on the red shoes, say, you went to Bidar. The same thing. Every area is going to have a specific signature of the particles. These particles are going to get deposited on the human body. And it can stay very comfortable. The same vice versa as the cosmic dust even. And we can understand where from this cosmic dust has come even. Simple thing. You know pretty well from the toxicology and jurisprudence when we are studying the hair particle, when it is being analyzed, the people can say what we eat 6 months back even. This is what the things are going to be get understood here. Ultimately, whatever the components of the Purusha, formation of the life is existing, all are exogenous and also endogenous. They are inside. The same thing has been formed is being the same thing. Now let me know how old is this Earth and solar system. We said the solar system is about the 28,000 light years away from the galactic center and 20 light years above the plane of the galaxy. It is not, it is like a plate, it is like a little above it is. And it is at the degrees, 63 degrees of the angulation it is there. This is one specificity above. This is the one specificity which makes us to be here even. Here the sun is a 4.5 billion years old with a twin star nemesis we come across. And twin star nemesis at present is not existing. It has been thrown far away. People say it's because of the planetary engineering somebody else has been done. We don't know who has done it or whether it happened as a naturally also. We have as our family one star, that is the sun, 8 planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, they are nearer. We account these things in astrology. And Uranus and Neptune, they are far, where they cannot have their gravitational, other magnetic or gamma ray reflections over us. Thereby, we do not include those into the thing. But newer astrologers have started including, because say, Uranus and Neptune, they take 80 years to complete one circle. How long the people can live? Usually 60, 70. They may not be able to complete one, and they are very far away. That's why these effects are also going to be not accountable properly. We may say cumulative effect to be associative, and thereby we can make out something more even. There are 5 dwarf planets: Pluto, Sirius, Haumea, Megameke, and Eris. These 5 dwarf planets are also planets, and they are at a particular distance. We do not account these things also into the astrology. We are with 181 moons, 5,66,000 asteroids, and 3,100 comets also in our heliospheric solar family. I am using here the heliospheric, as like we have the atmosphere around the earth. The same way, the sun has another cell-like or a liner heliospheric control. This is going to end with the Kuiper belt. And recently, one of our probes, NASA probes, has been passing through this, and they were very much happy. At the time, there was a big turbulences as we travel in airplane. We get the turbulences airway. The turbulences were there for the NASA probe also. So when we see these things, this is the solar system, how we live. The nearest planet is the Mercury, and farthest is here the Eris. Here we get this Eris as one more reference also. See, in one of our Puranas, from the earth we have to go with the Eris first. From there only we can have a flight for the Brahmaloka. There was a story and about the Balabhadra's, the Krishna brother, and his wife Revati. Revati was the daughter of the Revata, who belongs to Krita Yuga, and he wished to consult Brahma for the good muhurta for her matrimony. When he went to the Eris, from there to the Brahmaloka, that was the route described, and Brahma laughed at them. Do you know how many years have been passed? By the time you go back, it will be Dwapara Yuga ending almost. Then he said, to whom I have to give my daughter? The first recorded groom is younger and bride is elder. The Revati is a lakhs of years older than that of the Balabhadra. Krita Yuga Revati married to that of the Dwapara Yuga Balabhadra of the Balarama. And by the time he came back, he got married. But this is not a story. Actually, this describes the flight plan of the how the Revata has moved in Krita Yuga to that of the Eris, from the Eris to that of the Brahmaloka, elsewhere probably. Now, this entire things when we are going to see, the planetary engineering is one more word which is a fascinating even. See, the one is a Kuiper belt, which is at the outermost, protecting the solar family. Otherwise, this family of this entire planet would have been destroyed by the many asteroids which are coming from outside. And the inner, like Mars, Earth, and Venus, Mercury are being protected by the asteroid belt. What the people say is, there is a 1x distance Mercury, 2x Venus, 3x Earth, and 4x is the Mars. There is a 5x. At the 5x, there was one more big planet. That planet was being destroyed, and thereby there is a small Sirius being left off. Rest of the things have been scattered, and they become moons for some planets, or otherwise it is one piece is brought here to stabilize the Earth as a moon, and 2 for the Mars. Why for the Mars and Earth only given importance is going to be understood as we can understand the different levels of the thing. Here, the Earth movements were asked. How much you know about this Earth, how they are moving? One is, it is rotating on its axis to make the Ahoratra day and night. This day and night we know 24 hours usually. Earth-Moon system orbits in a gravitational system, and thereby it is going to be said either the Masa or Paksha are going to be get developed. When we see the other way movement, Earth revolves around the Sun once in a year, 365 days and 6 hours, 9 minutes. It is called as a one Varsham or the Samvatsram. And Earth polar spin variation is also there, which is going to shift the pole. Hey, the north is not fixed. North is inclining. The today's north is going to be tomorrow's east. Tomorrow's south is going to be of the west. It is inclination, or the south becomes the east, and north becomes the pole even. North is going to be shifted to that of the west even. So this inclination is happening because of the pole shifting also going to happen. The Earth orbit is being precise 25,770 Earth year, which is going to be changing the equinox. This is being shown in the Vedic calendar. How precisely they calculate? It's simple. Even the common man is knowing what is the distance from the Earth to Sun. Yuga Sahasra Yogana Parabhan. This is from the Hanuman channel. When the Hanuman wants to hold the Sun with the distance, if you calculate what is the Yojana and how much it is going to be there, and the Sahasra Yojana is going to be exactly what today's NASA calculated the distance between Sun and the Earth. So these calculations which are being shown in Vedic astrology, they are not myth, they are proper calculation. Here the sixth point is going to be vertical oscillation of the Z oscillation of the galactic movement also being recorded. Now, 1/7 of the Brahma day or night is the periodicity which is going to be seen 35 million years. Is the Z oscillation movement. Here you can just see the wave. It goes up and down, and thereby it is going to make a Z oscillation or otherwise vertical oscillation. In the same way, the galactic center from there, it is pushed outside, and there will be horizontal oscillation also. This is not being calculated by anybody till. The solar system is revolving around the galactic center also is to be observed. It is going to be taking 250 million Earth years. This 250 million Earth years are linked with that of the aging of the Brahma ages. That means every time one resolution is getting completed, new Brahma, new creation, new life is going to get started. And the Milky Way galaxy is moving through the universe. That movement nobody calculated till today. When we see this different movements, as I said about the Nemesis, Nemesis is the sun sibling. And it is being recorded 400 million years ago. There was one Muller has been speculated 400 million years ago. This twin star of the sun has been pushed away through a planetary engineering or by its own that we don't know. The sun and earth revolving around the solar system with a gravitational center, even this movement is not also being known to us, and we are not able to make it out even. Now, the question next is, how long the human race is surviving on Earth? We don't know the exact age, but about 2.5 million years ago, Homo habilis has been made out, known colloquially as handyman. This is there in the record. It is the seventh Manvantara when we say 4.3 million years ago the sun has come out, which is going to start with the 28th Mahayuga. And there at that time, the 5 phases of the Shiva, 5 phases of the Brahma was shown in our mythology, which is representing 5 different races existing on the earth. Out of that, the story was Brahma 5th phase was cut off by the Shiva. And why it means the Capoid race has been extinct. And later the asteroid also is being extinct. Now we have the Negroid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid races. These 3 are only available now. Now modern humans who originated from the Africa, very specifically 2 lakh years ago, this is what's being said as a Homo erectus, upright man, and so on. This entire history is 1.9 million years to 1,35 years as such. It is the 7th Manvantara period, which is being recorded in the Vedic astrology. When we say about the India, You can just see here, Indian races are the Dravidian races, Negrito races, Mongoloid types, or Indo-Aryan type, Aryo-Dravidian, or Mongolo-Dravidian, Sijo-Dravidian, Turco-Dravidian, Turco-Iranian. These races, when we are having here, might be, I put a question in the previous, why the India, Jambu Dvipa was very specific. Here, the American continent is here shown on the right side, not on the left side. Commonly, we see the maps, present maps, America is shown on the left side. At that time, we were the center, the India, where 4,000 years back, 79 degrees of the east of the present is aligned with Kedarnath, Kalahasti, Kanchi, Tiruvannamalai, Tiruvanekal, and Chidambaram, and Kaleshwaram, and also Rameshwaram and Ravanalanka. This was the Rama's period when this was zero longitude, and thereby this was totally aligned, and we were the center, and thereby we can understand how it has been made the conversion of the after the Britishers came into the Greenwich as a zero. Now here, when we have these things, we survive here because we are in the habitable zone or the Goldilocks zone. A right distance from the sun when we are within 7 minutes of the light and heat, which can be reached here. It makes us to be warm enough, but along with the atmosphere is controlling the radiation of the sun and also our magnetic field from the earth, which is there with that of the, because of the moon, is making us to be not receiving the cosmic rays, and it will be diverted. Thereby, we can enjoy the life on the earth. Say, one astronomical unit of the, from the solar to the sun to that of the earth is called as one astronomical unit. And we say the solar system 0.38 to 10 units of the solar system range is said as a habitable zone. Or here you can just see in this, the Venus is away from or within non-habitable zone. And when we see the conservative habitable zone, there are 2 planets in the exoplanet of the entire universe. Till today, what we know is, one is the Earth, which is in the right place, and another one is with the star Kepler. It is said as a super Earth, which is 1410b with the Kepler star. These 2 are only exoplanets which are there in the habitable zone as per our observation. What is going to happen tomorrow for the sun? Sun is going to become either white dwarf, condensed, or otherwise it become a red giant and explode. When it is going to become bigger and bigger, the habitable zone will be pushed. The one day, the Earth is going to be under the non-habitable zone, and Mars is going to come into the habitable zone. The Kalki Avatara is going to be coming here from the Earth to that of the migration is being said in or anticipated in the Vedic Jyotisha or Vedanta system long back through the Dashavatara. So, possibility of transferability or moving away from also can be understood here. We need to have this life existence and survival because we are in the Goldilocks zone. We are with the proper electromagnetic field, and we have the atmosphere, we have the proper gravity, and we are made up of the carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. These are the things which we are in need with. So as such, how this India is, we may not be able to understand our Indian heritage. And here almost all the life on the earth is wiped 2 billion years ago because there was a totally icy age has been come out. The first present human is in between 5 to 7 million years ago. This is the latest human. That means the people, those who were there before to that, they were all gone with. And in the Ramayana, Sugriva briefing the landmarks, there is an Atlas and who is being deputed for the search of the Sita. At the time he describes beautifully. So please search on the net about the Sugriva's Atlas. Beautiful narration is going to be there. Here I just show, which is from the our understanding of the how this Indian trade hit the Eurasian plate. In the 24th Mahayuga, the Ramayana, the 9 million years ago, which has been happened approximately is to be understood. There are different Ramas also. This is another concept. The present Rama is said to be 12,240 BC based on the oceanology and also even the astronomy and astrological calculations of the Purnarnava Nakshatra and the Sri Ramanavami Vishwarni. See, the Mahabharata is a very recent. When we take the account of this Mahabharata, there were 3 atomic radiation blasts which have been recognized. One is at the Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, which are of the ancient cities, which belongs to this radiation of the atomic energy is of the 5,000 years ago. That refers to that of the Mahabharata war. There were one more incidentation of the Ramayana. In the Rama was taken the arrow and he left it as it is to be diverted. He put it on the present day Thar in the Rajasthan. He dropped his weapon there, his bana, and thereby that vana, which was a beautiful thing, that has been understood as a beautiful garden, a beautiful forest, has been destroyed. And now you see in the Rajasthan, the stand which you see is not a stand of the stone crust, it is a quartz. The quartz is going to be possible to happen whenever there is a high condensified heat is going to be there. That means the Thar is going to be at one time got a condensed by high pressure like atom bomb pressure and heat, and thereby the stone and the land has become quartz. Here, what we can just say is that this present science is in between approximately from 11 to 9,000 BC could be understood this present Ayurveda or otherwise present astronomy or astrology. The Indian heritage is 71 million years ago. We separated from the Gondwana, and about 40 to 50 million years ago, we just hit with the Eurasian continent, and Himalayas formed around 50 million years ago. And at the time, the Jambu Dvipa, which we were calling, even today, if you understand, you people are making the, when we are making the Sankalpa, we say Jambu Dvipa, Bharatavarshe, Bhartakande, Mero Dakshina, Dilbag. This is what we are going to speak even. Where is that fourth Sagara? What is the name of it? I was searching for a long time. The fourth ocean is said as the Treacherous ocean. This Treacherous ocean, which is going to be, which is vanished, and people found, the people, those who escalated in the Himalayas, they found the seashells. Seashells can be found only at the oceans, cannot be on the Himalayas. It is clearly evident, once upon a time, there was an ocean on the north side of the India, which was covered because of the hit to that of the Eurasian plate. This is the way which was looking at the time of the Mahabharata, where the different deshas were, or countries were being made. This is Gandhara, this is present Afghanistan, Saurasena, Matsya, Panchala, Kuru. The Kuru is Uttara Kuru, Dakshina Kuru. The present Kazakhstan and other things which are of the countries are said to be the Uttara Kuru, and Dakshina Kuru is the Hastina, is being said in India. This world astrology, how old it is? We are going to use this Pushyami Nakshatra as one of the auspicious things, and we start using this auspicious Pushyami, initiated 13,000 to 11,000 years ago it was. That means the Pushyami was said to be the pole star, and it is the pole 13,000 years ago, approximately. The Karkata Rasi is in the Pushya. Pushya is in the Karkata Rasi, which was said to be 11,000 to 9,000 BC, was said to be. That is, say 13,000 years ago. At present, the equinox is there in the Ashwini Nakshatra. It goes into the Revati after 1,000 years. Say, From 1000 to 3000 AD, which we are calculating the present day, it is the star of the Ashwini. What we come to know is Veda Vyasa has redacted. That means previously it was existing, and Veda Vyasa period was the Mahabharata times, approximately 5000 plus years. What we understand here is Veda, Vedanga, Jyotisha, all these things were redacted by the Veda Vyasa only. And we have lots of the things which we come across with, and out of this astronomy, astrology in India, which has been sustained after the repeated attacks of the many, including the Aryans were attacking, Mongolians were attacking, Muslims and Europeans, everybody was attacking because we have lots of the things to give them, either physically or through mentally. So this relation between the Ayurveda and astrology, how it is going to be get understood is the two books. There is one Vasavarajyam is available in Telugu, and another is the Versya Mahavalokam, speaks very beautifully about the astrology relation with the Ayurveda. Commonly, in Vedanta Jyotisha, we are going to account the sixth bhava or the Roga bhava, sixth place from the top, the Lagna. We can convert this. 180 degrees is an opposition. 150 degrees is the fifth place and sixth place. Lagna, when we say first one, from plus 150 degrees. This what it makes the difference. We will be calculating the degrees and other things and bhava. We have the in Kundali a 360 degrees 12 Rashi. If suppose somebody born in the Mesha Rashi, Lagna as a Mesha, from there the sixth place is going to be the Kanya, is the sixth bhava or the Ari bhava, which is going to be Roga bhava. What the understanding of the Ayurveda astrology, Ayurveda is the science of the life or the knowledge of the life. Jyotisha is the light of the life or the quality of the life. The Sukham, Dukkham, which we are going to speak in Ayurveda are related to that of the thing of the AyurJyotish, Ayurveda astrology, where we are going to make a proper diagnostic, curative, prophylactic, prognostic studies, which could be made very comfortably through the medical astrology. In this, what we are going to see commonly, we are going to see Lagna as the first bhava for the body, and second bhava for that of the food, what we eat, fourth bhava for that of the comfort, what we achieve, otherwise ahara and vihara. Vihara is the fourth bhava. Fifth bhava for the congenital disorders or otherwise genetical disorders. Sixth bhava for that of the physical body disorders. And seventh bhava is the aggravating factors of the disease is going to be get understood from the seventh bhava. Eighth bhava is the lifespan period, and ninth bhava is immunity or the protective power of the individual body, and 10th bhava is for the occupational disorder. 11th and 12th, 11th is for your monetary benefits and benefits of your body. 12th bhava for the hospitalization and recovery from the disease. In this way, we are going to calculate and make it out. Further, we have to study a thorough AyurJyotisham. Thereby, then we are going to make a proper study of the AyurJyotisham, Ayurveda astrology. We can certainly can make it out. I have lots of the examples. I suggest always, all the time, before getting married, if a couple are going to look forward, what is the possibility of getting a genetically impaired or physically challenged children? It can be avoided. Why we have to give them birth and we have to suffer and we have to suffer them? So we have to use the science whichever is better useful. We are going to check for the different biomarkers of the cancer. All the people, those who got checked for the biomarkers, are going to become cancerous? No. By knowing before, well and before, we can anticipate and we can give a proper antidote or the better relief and better treatment for them. The same way, we have to use this medical astrology as a prophylactic level, and for the curative level, we can use the Homa, or otherwise Aushadha and money and etc. Pranipata, etc. Whatever the Dayavya Chikitsikas are there. So the ultimate aim is evidence data-based Ayurveda astrology to be created. This is what my ambition, Technoayurveda is minded for that. We are doing, groups of the people are doing for the same. So here, what this content which we are going to see is in the medical astrology, commonly what we said the genetical disorder. We see from the Lagna all the physical body. From the Chandra position, we see all the psychological perspectives. From the Sun position, we see the Atma. And Atma is also going to have the Vyadhi. Atma cannot be untouched when it is outside. When it is going to be within the body, the Atma is binded with that of the once again Sukha and Dukkha. Thereby, we have the different methods of approach to understand these things. Ultimately, we learn either for the physical, practical, Ayurveda treatment, or otherwise a Manidharana, Homa, Mantra, etc. recitation. So this is what today I wish to convey to you all, and thank you very much. If at all anybody have questions, you please ask me so that I can answer your questions. Any questions, please? You can just type your questions, or you can ask your questions, unmute yourself and ask your questions. Quickly, any questions, please? I think this is a little heavy. There are some questions, I believe. Okay, good evening and thank you. Can we come to unborn baby genetic problem? Yes, that's what I am trying to tell. Based on the mother and father horoscopes, we can predict a genetically challenged or physically challenged children. That is the prophylactic. Well, commonly, it is being made as a Gunamelana. The Gunamelana is for the Maitri. Nowadays, people, because of the attraction, they are foregoing this or forgiving the compatibility. When the compatibility is not seen, the problems are going to be there. A step beyond to that of this compatibility check, I am speaking a genetical child or a genetically challenged or physically challenged children who are going to bond because of this couple. It is going to be broken and it can be with another person. At the time it is going to be. And one more thing is if there is a prarabdha. If it is a certain that they have to worry in the same way, that happens by any way. Can we get the recording of this? Yes, of course, this is going to be there on the YouTube. I'll be uploading this and you can just hear once again from the YouTube of the Technoayurveda. School of Technoayurveda, YouTube. It's not the Ramayana happened in Treta Yuga of the Mahayuga. No, that is the 24th Mahayuga. In that Treta Yuga, that Rama happened. That's what some people say. And present Rama, there are each and every Treta Yuga, there will be one Rama. Each and every Dwapara, there will be one Krishna. Please note. And each and every Mahayuga is going to be with one Mahapurusha. At present, which we have, is the Ramayana. I personally, with the given examples, I believe this Rama is approximately 13,000 years ago. Our present Rama of the Ayodhya Rama. Of this particular Mahayuga, Rama only, which is of the 13,000 years ago. And you search, please. There are so many things which are available based on the astronomical retrospective data which has been calculated. They found on the grahas which are being placed as per the description in the Ramayana, which was happened 9,000 BC. 9,000 BC. That means 11,000 years approximately. So we can say AyurJyotish is 11,000 years old at least. Any other questions, please? Another objection from me, if you don't mind. Aryan invasion theory is proved wrong recently. Say, invasion is a very big word. There were so many fights between the Aryans or any races to races in between. They migrated, they fight, also happened. See, there is a small story of the 7 Prajapatis in our Indian history. Brahma made the 7 Prajapatis and asked them to make the population spread over. Out of the one Prajapati by name Vishwavasu was capable of spreading his family, and rest of the people could not. And that Vishwavasu was called as Daksha. Daksha is the Prajapati. You can convert or you can understand this in a different way. There were 7 races basically which were in between fighting or having. A mitochondria is from the female and the genes are from the male. All the other people, other females of the races are being included by the Daksha, and he has taken over, and thereby the races have been made out. There is a Nat Geo observation or investigation for the successors of the Genghis Khan. And all the people were seen with the one gene mutated. They extended it to the China. All the China was with the same mutated gene. They extended to the rest of the world, and thereby they found almost everybody on the globe are with the same gene mutation. But they found one person at the Cape Good Hope Cafe, Cape Good Hope, with a small island. The person who was not mutated with a gene, he belongs to another set of the people. So we belongs to all this Daksha Prajapati population. Based upon the migration, our color, our other things have been changed. People, those who are living in a cold climate, they get the white skin. People, those who are living on otherwise the things in the hot suns are going to get the dark skin or tan skin. The Indians and Dravidians and the races which are being based upon the customary which have been made. I have shown how many of the different levels of the population are there in India. You can just go through the record, and these races are there with either with the migration or with the invasion. We are not saying the invasion is always right. The people are traveling. Thereby we can understand it. No. Any other questions, please? You have seen, I have shown you some of the references, and thereby I have shown you, I fetched some of the information from. You can just go through and you can just say how still how it is. I don't believe this Aryan and Dravidian. Another beautiful story I just want to say is this Ayurjyotish or the Cheetah. People may laugh at. This is going to be a blind belief at all. The first cultivator is the Janaka, who has harvested the thing. Rama wants to learn this and went to the Janaka and learned this, the cultivation methodologies. When he learned cultivation methodology, probably he married the Sita or the daughter of the Janaka. But the Sita meaning in the Sanskrit is the flow channel. The flowing channel is called as a Sita. He wants to make the more and more cultivation. The northern side at the time, all the people are living, they were not having much land, and he wants to travel to the forestry. There was a story of the Dasharatha came. The question is, why the Rama is with so many people? And they want to cultivate it when there is a negativity. Now, even today, you see the same thing in the forestry. The people are going to cultivate as a food. And the Rama, when he wants to cultivate, the entire his material of the flowing material has been snatched by the localites who are said as a Rakshasa. And Vanachara Vanara, the word which is being used, Vanara is the Vanaratiti Vanara, the Vanacharatiti Vanara. The people, those who are living in the forests are being called as Vanara. They are the tribal. If the Rama described them as a Vanara. See, the question is, he is with the city life and a person who is of the forest life, the forest people are going to protest. The Rakshasas are the protesters. The people, those who are supporters of the Rama to make a cultivation is the Vanaras. This is the way sociologically you can observe this also. See, we have to see the very wide perspective. Without believing anything, we have to examine very specifically how we can understand our history, which was told as a story, and what are the scientific attitudes attached to that, how scientifically we can understand it. The Ravana Lanka, when we calculate the distance, it comes nearer to that of the Madagascar, not the Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was called as a Simhala in the previous times. It was never told as a Lanka. Now it became, at the time of the Ramayana, why Ramayana? At the time of the Mahabharata, still the land is being connected from Simhala to that of the Bharat in the Rameshwaram. It is submerged very recently, very recently. So I hope here I have to stop. Thank you very much for your support and hearing me patiently. If anybody have a question, you have my number. You can contact me at any time. Thank you very much and good day.